What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the best keeper in the game, best gold card in the game, maybe. I personally think Courtois is, if not the best gold card in terms of goalkeepers you can get on the game. Let's have a look at, I suppose, his in-games, look at what he's all good about, and basically my opinion on him. So let's jump right in. So we do have Courtois here today, and last year he was kind of snubbed, or at least he just wasn't quite with it. And I don't think keepers have like a huge role in the game. I feel like they have certain elements that they can save, some that they can, some that they can't, and then there is this kind of like bracket where shooting just always goes in. If you go with like the ball roll and finesse round him, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna score. If you do get that lucky opportunity, which I've been looking at, and moving your keeper, that's when something can come into it. It depends on the ability of your opponent. If he notices the first, the second, or the third time that you're moving your keeper, predominantly a lot of smart players will go for the fake shot. You'll move your keeper and it's an open goal. That's personally what I do, and it sounds easier than it actually is. But obviously in that moment you notice that, oh, he's moving his keeper to the left thinking that Mbappe is going to go far right. You go with that shot, and a good player will go with a fake shot, and then they'll go on the other side. Doesn't work all the time, because not every time I'm trying to move my keeper, and that is always like that kind of last minute. It's almost like a desperation move. You kind of think this is the only chance that he's got. You can see that space and he's going to hit it. Whether they try and go the other space, anticipating it, is a total different story. Courtois is coming in at 30,000 coins, and that is relatively cheap for a keeper. We have got Alisson at a 90 rated, Oblak at 91, as well as his road to the final. We've got ter Stegen, we've got Ederson as an inform, we've got Lloris. De Gea's an 86 now. I don't think he's even in the top 5 anymore. So really them top players, that's who we're going up against. There is a lot of good keepers in the game. For me at the moment, I think the only people I haven't used is ter Stegen, and I think he will be quality as well. But Oblak was decent. I preferred Courtois. I used Ederson for quite some time. I preferred Courtois, and I've used Alisson for I used Alisson for about 15 matches, because then I got red Ederson, so I decided to kind of drop him and use Ederson instead, get a red in my team. But I did prefer Courtois again. I don't know what it is about him. He is not necessarily the anti-keeper of what I always like, but he's got no speed whatsoever, and yeah, he just comes up with some absolutely ridiculous saves. It probably is the fact that he is 6'6", which is just absolutely ginormous. He looks massive in the net, and he covers half of it. Honestly, at a penalty shootout, you can see the kind of dive and reach that he has for the ball is just absolutely phenomenal, and that could be it. That literally, the height could be the difference. He's got very good stats throughout. If you do put a basic on, which we'll have a look on the overall, because I don't like doing the goalkeeper reviews too long, because there's only so much you can say about them. But for me, I think he is one of the best gold cards, and he does have an inform that I really want to try out. But at the minute, this Courtois gold card is untradeable, so I'm kind of getting my use out of it before we go and get obviously anything else in terms of inform specials, all of that good stuff. Team of the years, when that comes around, normally we end up with a goalkeeper from there. But let's get into some gameplay, and I'll show you some of the saves that he was making. So if we do look at Courtois here, then we've got a few saves, not too many. We did play him in FUT Champs, and we didn't do amazing in FUT Champs. We managed to get the gold free and then stop with I think it's about 4 or 5 games remaining. Didn't really do too well this week, and it not necessarily the keeper's fault or even anyone's fault. I think it's more kind of my mentality and just maybe losing a rag a little bit. But we can see here Courtois rushes for the ball, comes out when needed, has a really firm hand on the ball, and manages to save real good shots like here. I think it's a good push out there. Yes, it is all animations, and it's all depending on if the game wants you to do it or not, if you've got enough time. But we see kind of like stuff like this. Ball comes across, it's a weak shot in overall, but that can go in. People can let that in, and I have seen that sort of shot go in as well. Courtois seems very consistent with his shot stopping, and that is always a blessing in disguise with there. We see him rushing again, constantly going for the ball and making them saves. Luckily, off the line with the head, that one. But if we do go with his overall then, 30k, 31 on the Xbox, 34 on a PC. We have got some good stats. We'll have a comparison to the top tier keepers. We have got, obviously, as in form, a few nice ones. We was expecting a Player of the Month Courtois, which would have been absolutely amazing. I would have 100% have done that card, regardless of me trying to do every SBC. That is a fantastic card. Obviously, coming in a little bit more pricey, 90k more. Is it worth it? Some really nice upgrades. Obviously that +1 on the speed, and that's the one thing that always gets me. I've always thought speed was kind of like the key. I think it is this stat right here that is absolutely incredible. And we'll have a look around a few of the other keepers. I've personally got ter Stegen and Ederson as the two kind of changeover keepers, the alternatives. Links wise, we've got Varane, Militao, you've got Ramos, you've got Longley, you've got PK, but wouldn't really say so. Belgium centre-backs, really, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, and I think that's it. They're not really kind of big on the game anymore. So personally, I think nation-wise, you're going to have to stick to the league. One Varane, and you've got him on 10. So I don't think that's too much of an issue. In terms of generations, he's been around since FIFA 10. He's got a 58 goalkeeper card. Playing in the Belgium league, he obviously then went to Atletico Madrid, managed to do a few little bits, then moving himself to Chelsea, where he did okay, but I think it was kind of like I say, FIFA 18, late FIFA 18, where he really started to come into his own, and then we went to Real Madrid, where shaky start, and then managed to kind of find his form a little bit and make his name as #1. In terms of comparison then, if we go on here, let's have a look. So if we go with... We'll go with in his league, we'll go with Oblak, and we'll look at his gold card to start with, and then we'll look at ter Stegen. So ter Stegen and Oblak. I think we can't add any more players, so we look at him. So let's go. Can we go information? How tall is everybody? See, there's a huge difference, and I'm interested to see how tall Alisson and Ederson are, because that is a massive difference, and that could be the reason. I don't personally know what makes a keeper amazing, but I just know what they kind of do in game, how many mistakes they're making, how many saves they're stopping, and it's crazy that this guy is cheaper than everybody else. Obviously, it's mainly rating purposes. Normally, the goalkeepers are cheapest by rating, and that's just naturally what it is. But if we look at everything else then, speed, ter Stegen's got lower, Oblak's only got a little bit higher, so it can't really be that. Let's just have a quick look. If we get rid of these two, and we'll put Alisson and Ederson, because they're really the only other two that are going to be in somewhat comparison to them. We'll go Alisson and we go Ederson, because I didn't realise how tall Courtois actually is. So we've got 6'3", 6'2". That is absolutely nuts. I really didn't know he was that tall. That is absolutely crazy. But in terms of everything else then, they're wrong in-game stats. 52, 64. I always had my prize on this one. 64 speed. That would be normally my kind of go-to choice. And he was an incredible keeper, but I do think Courtois is not necessarily loads better, but I know the consistency more. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know who your best goalkeeper in the game is, the gold goalkeeper, because obviously we could go to icons, and I think there is always going to be a better icon. Edwin van der Sar has always been phenomenal, and I'm hearing Czech is next level as well, so we will get onto them and really get them done for the icon reviews. Apart from that, make sure you like and subscribe. See you.